Hi there, my name is Kovu, and I have so many things I want to tell you guys. So much on my mind tonight. I don't really know where to start or what I should tell you, but I do have a story for you. Uh, and this happened yesterday, so Friday the 20th of October 2017. It's not, the date isn't really important. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I do want to tell you about it because I did something that to me was kind of big. I know that technically it may not be at all, um, but I don't know. To me, it was kind of a big deal because I stepped out of my comfort zone to just comment on something that's really important to me. I don't know. It was just kind of emotional. Um, so basically, this guy who's like famous in Norway, kind of. Yeah, he's kind of like he's on TV and stuff in several like TV shows. He's gay. Everyone knows him. Like everyone knows that guy. I mean, I personally didn't recognize his name right away, but then someone showed me a picture and I was like, ah, yeah, that guy. So like, yeah. Also, in my defense, like, I don't know any Norwegian celebrities or celebrities in general, so I'm sure he's decently famous. He is. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, he's gay. So he was coming to a school to hold like I don't know what it's called, like kind of a long speech, if that makes sense. That lasted like an hour and a half. Um, to talk about not just like gay things in particular, but about bullying and about identity and about the choices you make and about the kind of person that you are and like how we need to work together to like stop bullying basically. But it wasn't just the usual stuff. It had to do with like just the science behind the bullies and stuff like that as well. And it was just a really, really great like speech. Um, yeah, I don't really know what else to call it, but yeah, it was really awesome. I wish I could like videotape it. Videotape it. Wow, I sound so old. I wish I could like film it and post it somewhere because I want everyone to hear that because it was so great and just he was so sassy, like his personality, just everything, but also the things that he said. It was absolutely amazing, and I was just like the words he spoke just like hit me in my soul. I sat down on the like first row of chairs when we got in because I was so excited. I was like, yes, oh yeah, I wanna, I'm gonna listen to this. I wanna, he's gay. It's kind of like it kind of applies to me just automatically. It's kind of a thing, you know. Um, so yeah, I was really excited and it was so good. Like I can't remember everything he said, uh, and it's kind of hard to. I wouldn't be able to say it or retell it exactly how he said it because well he spoke in Norwegian first of all and also like again I can't. He was just really great with his words and it was just awesome. And then he got to like the end or like towards the end of the thing of his speech. It's probably not called that, but I don't know what else to call it. And he started talking about like how some people make bad choices and how it's kind of like the environment around people are kind of like he basically said that it was like the main cause of people making bad choices because they get affected by people around them and the situations around them. And then he started talking about just like briefly like or giving examples basically of bad choices, like people getting into drugs and dying of an overdose. And then he also said that if someone takes their own life, that is on the people around them. Like, it is our responsibility if someone takes their own life. And I know what he meant by that. By all means, I know what he meant. But just how he worded it gave me like my stomach just like dropped. And I felt so heavy. And after that, I didn't smile. Because when it comes to suicide and stuff like that, I I get triggered now, but like it's a thing, like suicide and stuff like that. It's kind of it's a thing. And then he basically ended the thing, and he was like, "Hey, does anyone have any questions before I go?" And I felt kind of like I felt this lump in my throat, kind of, but also like there's like there was this rock in my stomach like weighing me down, and I started feeling bad, and I was like, should I say something? I want to say something. And then someone raised a hand, and they were like, what was your first love like? And then that guy answered that question, and I started feeling worse and worse, and then he asked any other questions, and then it was completely silent again, like it was the first time until someone again like finally raised a hand, and they were like, what should you do if you find out that you're not straight, or something like that. And I started feeling so bad, and with every second that passed, like I started feeling worse and worse, because I was like, no, like, should I walk up to him after the speech to tell him what I have to say? Because for some reason, and I know why, but just it seems stupid now, but it's just so important to me. And I was like, no, if I walk up to him afterwards, like, first of all, I'm not gonna have the balls to do that. Second, that then like only he will hear it and not the other people in the like sitting in this room, and it was just so important to me. And then like I started feeling so bad, and then he was like again for the third time he said, does anyone have any more questions? And I was like, this is my last chance. So okay, just saying, I have pretty bad anxiety. And I don't talk in situations where I'm not comfortable. Because, for example, I feel dysphoric about my voice, and also I just don't. I'm scared. Like if I don't feel comfortable in a situation, I don't talk. Like in the very beginning of like the first few weeks of this school year, I didn't talk. But I was like, I have to, like, this is my last chance. And I just, like, felt my hand, like, racing, and obviously I was sitting on the first row, so I couldn't help but see that, and he was like, yes. I was like, fuck. But I was like, can I give you some feedback? And he was like, yeah, go ahead. And I was like, I think you should be really careful with saying that peers and people around the person are responsible if given person commits suicide. And he was like, oh yes, I totally agree with you. And then he said like, it's never someone's, like if someone chooses to take their own life, it's their choice. And a lot of the time people can't change their mind because they've just made up their mind and it's their fault. And he said like, what I meant was, and I knew what he meant, but he just said that like we should keep that in the back of our minds, in the back of our head. Like if a person is suicidal and we as kind of like the community or the people around that person like aren't assholes basically to that person, and we make them feel better about themselves, which is basically kind of what his whole speech was about, like how we as people have to be nice to each other and not be assholes, and the science behind assholey behavior and stuff like that. But he was like, yeah, like if we're nice to the person, then maybe we could do something to stop it. But of course, it's not entirely our responsibility. That's just something we should keep in the back of our minds. But the thing was, as I was speaking, I felt this lump in my throat, like, grow bigger, kind of, and I was so close to crying. Like, just as I was speaking, I could feel the tears just like fill my eyes. And for the rest of the as he replied to my question, or like my thing, I couldn't look at him. I just looked down in the floor at the floor, because if I had looked at him, I knew that I would start crying right away. And then everyone clapped because he was done, and there was a lot of sound in the room. There were a lot of people in the room. Everyone suddenly stood up, and there were just people everywhere, sounds everywhere, and it was just very overwhelming. And the speech he had held was so powerful, and I was freaked out because I spoke in front of all these people giving criticism to that person. We mentioned the cool person, the famous person, to like who held that awesome speech, which was really inspiring and who I now looked up to. And we talked about suicide, which is the thing that like I just it's a very serious thing, and it's just it does something to me. And I just, when he said that, the reason why it was so important to say that to him and to mention that was when he said that, when he held people around like the peers of a person who commits suicide, holding them responsible for that person committed suicide. Like, it just reminded me of all the messages that I've gotten from people who have had a friend who has committed suicide, and they just blame themselves so much, and they blame themselves to the point where they themselves are suicidal because they think that there's something that they could have done. I'm gonna start crying again. But they think that there's something that they could have done, that it was somehow their fault that they didn't stop that person from committing suicide. And I was just reminded of all of that, and there were just so many emotions that when everyone stood up and they clapped and they were about to leave, I just started crying. Like, I couldn't. Like, it was really bad. And then, like, I was like, like, I was like bawling, but I cried. And then my friend Celine was sitting next to me. She was like, "Hey, you alright?" And then a friend of mine, Ruben, he saw that I was crying, and he's like, I'm kind of small compared to him, and he sees me as like his little bean, which sounds kind of weird, but he sees me as this very small person, not in a bad way. He just treats me like I'm his baby. Again, not in a bad way, but he saw that I was crying. He was like, "Oh, Kovu, come here!" And he like stopped in the. We were standing in the middle of the room with people all around us, and he was like holding me so tight, and I was like crying, just like. And then my Spanish teacher came over and said something. I don't know what she said. I think she was like, "Oh, good thing you commented on that," or something. And then my other teacher, or like the head of our year, came over and he was like, "Hey, Kobe, you're right." And I was just standing there with Ruben like hugging me so tight, and I was just crying. And then Ruben took me outside, and we sat down on the bench under the tree, or under the leaves that were falling from the trees, because it's autumn. It was really pretty. It was raining, and he was like, "Hey, I think it was really brave of you that you said that. I also wanted to comment on it, and I also talked to some other people later, like me. I talked to some other people later who did want to comment on it, but no one dared to. So Ruben said that I was brave, and I did a good job for commenting on something that was really important to me." And again, I know what he meant. I just wanted to make sure that everyone else in the room knew what he meant, because I know that some people can really, like, I don't know. I just thought of all the people messaging me and blaming themselves for someone in their life, like, committing suicide. And it can really affect people when you say stuff like that. And if you're not careful and think twice about what you say. So that was my little story time thing for you. It sounded very dramatic. When you think about it, it probably wasn't that dramatic to me. There were lots of emotions, because again, suicide is a very it's a thing. Just personally, I just have a lot of feelings attached to that, which is natural, but it was just a thing. So yeah, I guess. I don't know. I was kind of scared, because I was scared I did something wrong, but Ruben was just like, "You did the right thing." So thank you, Ruben, and thank you, Celine, for being so nice to me afterwards. I was just, I was like shaking low-key. For the rest of the day. No, but the rest of the day was really nice. I surprised my best friend, Celine, with the dinner and her favorite type of cake, and we watched TV, and we had a really nice time. I bought her some of her like favorite sweets, and I made like her favorite food and surprised her with that. I think I already said that. And like I made the table and or set the table and like had some like roses and stuff like that because her birthday was early this week, and then she stayed over. And then last night we went on a walk and I lost my wallet, but then we found it again. Yeah, it was the rest of the day was really nice, and I feel better now. It's just kind of in my soul, like a thing. It's like kind of, huh. And I wonder if that guy remembers me. Probably doesn't, because I'm not that big of a deal. But to me, it was a big of a deal. To me, it was a big deal. So that's why I wanted to share it with you. Sorry, it's kind of stupid. Um, but yeah, thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment if you want to, because that's what I love so much about this channel is that we talk. Like it's so nice. Um, and yeah, just thank you for listening, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this where I just like sit down and talk to you. So yeah, stay safe, stay fed, stay hydrated, and take care of yourselves. And I shall see you soon. Okay. I love you. Take care. Goodbye. You have a nice smile. You should smile more. Okay, goodbye.